folks, I'm back. It's me, Mahmood Chowdhury, aka the People's Coach, aka your host and speaker for today. Today I want to talk to you guys about soft parenting. Yes, that's right, people. We may love our children or child so much to the point we hate to see them get hurt. We hate to see them in pain. We hate to see them when they're not laughing, when they're not happy. It pains us, and it also pains us to discipline them, because when we do discipline them, we end up feeling sorry for them, and then all of a sudden we turn soft. I'm here to bring something to your attention, people. Now check this out. I'm a parent of 2.5. One boy, one girl, and another one on the way, soon to be. Now, the thing that I want to bring to your attention is this: my parenting experience. I want to bring and share with you, give you a bit of perspective and insights in terms of how I deal with things. So hopefully it'll give you a better idea and a better understanding of how to go about things with your child or your children. Now check this out. One day, my son's feed was up. And I was feeding him, and he was acting up, and all of a sudden I fed one spoonful of food into his mouth, and then he vomited it up, and he started to act up, turn his head left and right, and he just did not want it. He just did not want the food. He was just playing up, and it was to the point where I thought, and I took it upon myself to say, enough is enough. That's it. I'm not having him play, especially when it's time to eat the food. It's getting late. His food time is up. He needs to eat, and then he needs to go to bed. I was getting wound up. I was getting tired, and I had to go at him. I reacted in a negative way. I said, son, I yelled at him, and I said, son, what are you doing? Eat the food. And as soon as I raised my voice, my whole demeanor, body language, body posture changed. And all of a sudden, he got scared and he ate that meal. Straight away, didn't hesitate. Go. There, done and dusted. But let me tell you something. Then the following thing that I did was to send him to bed, wash his face, had a glass of water to drink, and then put him straight to bed. You know what he done? He didn't even hesitate. He didn't even rebel. He did not even put up a fight. He was scared, and he just went to sleep. And that night, I looked at him. I took a step back and I looked at him, and I reflected upon the actions that I'd done. And I kissed his forehead. I kissed him and I hugged him, and I put him down to sleep. I felt so sorry for him. I felt, oh my gosh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I shouldn't have raised my voice and shouted at him. But let me tell you something, people. I'm here to tell you, sometimes as hard as it may be, we may love our children to bits, but we have to draw the fine line, because if we don't draw the fine line, put our emotions to the side and say, enough is enough, this is where I draw the line, this is the boundaries, you do not cross them, these are the rules that I've put in place, and if you don't abide by them, then there will be a consequence, and that consequence is the discipline. If you don't enforce discipline now, then you will have rebellious children or child as they're growing up. They will rebel hard because they don't respect rules, regulations, and boundaries. You have to lay them down from day one. There's no point in doing this. For instance, you tell them to not do something, and 5 seconds later, 5 minutes later, or a short period later, you end up kissing them, hugging them, and embracing them. And you treat them. You treat them to something nice. You give them a nice surprise. You give them a little present. I don't know. And it spoils the whole discipline. Why discipline them in the first place if you're 1 minute know that you've got to be strict and firm, and next minute know that you've got to be soft and kind and nice? It can't happen in a short period of time. This is the thing that I'm trying to bring to your attention, people. When you discipline your child, discipline them, wait for a little bit, not a little moment or two. Hold back. It's going to be very difficult to do at first, but once you get in the gist of it, once you get in momentum, then it becomes more and more easier to do. Then later on you explain to the child why you had to discipline them, and then that's when you hug them and you embrace them and you explain to them. It's a hard thing to do at first, especially if you have so much love for your child, especially if they're young and they're vulnerable. And it breaks your heart to be mean, but you have to do it, parents, because if you don't do it, then the relationship will deteriorate later on. Imagine you didn't enforce discipline from day one. They'll rebel against you, they'll swear at you, they'll disrespect you, whether it be behind closed doors or in front of people. You don't want that to happen now, do you? You want them to respect you. Every time, anytime you discipline your children, you need to explain to them why you did what you had to do. And then later on, not straight away, like I said before, and I'm going to remind you again, to embrace them, to hug them, to kiss them. You don't do them straight away, one after the other. No, you wait for a little bit, you hold back. This is very difficult, particularly for mothers to do. But it needs to be done. And both spouses have to work together. The mother might find it hard to enforce discipline, whilst the father may enforce discipline, and the mother doesn't like what the father has done to the child. So hence there's a little tension between the spouses. If that's going to happen, the child is going to pick that up and play both spouses off against one another. You don't want that to happen. You want both spouses to support one another. Then it can work. Then the strong family bond, the unity can be very, very strong. And the child will have a healthy upbringing. That's the thing I'm trying to bring to your attention. About soft parenting. It's not about saying yes to the demands of the child all the time. Sometimes when you say no, they go against you and they end up doing it. If you don't put your foot down, then they're gonna keep on pushing them buttons and take it to extremes. Of course, saying this, in saying this, you need to have a balance. Sometimes let things pass. It might not be that big, so just let it pass. It could be a small thing. Allow it. But you just have to pick and choose when you have to put your foot down, because the child needs to know its boundaries, where it is not allowed to cross. Because if it does cross, it will be disciplined. In life, if you hurt someone, or if you have broken a rule, there is always a consequence. So hence the same concept applies to raising children. People, I've said enough. I hope that's been insightful. I hope that's given you a bit of food for thought, something to think about and incorporate into your own relationships in terms of raising a child or children. People, keep tuning in. Until next time, stay strong, stay focused. And always live to learn, to empower and inspire the lives of many as well as yourself. Bye for now.